this is John Patrick Hickey, and I want to talk to you. We have been talking about success, what that means, what that looks like for you. And in our last video, we talked about purpose, and I hope that you did the exercise, that you sat down and tried to figure out what it is that you really want to do. What is your purpose? Some of you have known your purpose for years. You may not have achieved it, you may not even have started working towards it, but you know what it is, and you've been aware of that purpose. Now's the time that we're going to start moving towards that purpose. And one of the things that I mentioned in there at the close was that your purpose is never defined by money. How much money you make, whether or not you become wealthy or you don't become wealthy. And I want to talk just a little bit about money, because money is an important part. See, people often connect money to success. They look at a successful person and say that they have a great deal of money, and that's not true. That most people, now listen to what I'm saying here, most people are not going to end up on the wealthy scale. And they're going to yet still be very successful and fulfill their purpose. There are those people who are going to begin a business, the business will be successful, it's a good business, and they make good money, and that's fine. I have nothing against making money. I think that everyone should make tons and tons of money. It would be a wonderful thing. But it doesn't get defined by money. And once you start defining success by money, then you cheapen success, but you also wander away from the purpose of it. You see, as I mentioned in the whole thing about purpose, your purpose, your life's work is to add value to the world. Money doesn't add value. Yes, I know a lot of people say, okay, if I have lots of money, I can help a lot of people. I can give to the poor. I can tithe. I can give to special charities. I can do all kinds of good things if I had lots of money. Let me ask you something. How many of those good things do you do now? Well, you say, well, I don't have a lot of money to do it. Well, if you can't use what little you have to do just a little bit of good, then you're not going to use a lot to do a lot of good. That's just reality. You won't. You see, what happens is the more money we make, the less free we are with it. We think, oh, if I had lots of money, I'd be very generous. Reality is, if you have lots of money, you tend not to be generous at all. Because there are people who don't want to get people confused here and think that everyone who's wealthy is stingy. There are a lot of very generous wealthy people. But the fact is that people who deliberately work towards gaining wealth have a tendency to hoard that wealth, to see that wealth as something that is theirs. They either hoard it or they spend it. You know, one of the things that they find with people who win lotteries is that they may be absolutely broke and then win $100 million. And in just a matter of a couple of years, they're more in debt than they were when they won, and they have absolutely nothing left. Why? Because they wasted it. They had money, they spent it all, they used it foolishly, they didn't invest it, they didn't do anything proper with it, and it's all gone, and they end up in a worse state than they were before. You see, money in itself can be a very destructive force. Scripture tells us that the love of money is the root of all evil. That doesn't mean money is the root of all evil. It is the love of money. Money is a good thing. And like I said, I hope you make tons of it. But never look at money as being the goal. Money is the reward. It is not the goal. The goal is always to add value to other people. When you keep that in perspective, then anything that you gain is all a plus. And if your particular purpose doesn't give you a lot of wealth, then you don't feel like you've failed because you haven't made a fortune. You know that you've succeeded because you fulfilled your purpose. That's the thing that is really difficult for people to face, is that they think that if they don't make a lot of money, they haven't been successful. And that's not true. I know many, many successful, very successful people who have done a great deal of good, who are continuing to just add value to those around them and to the world in general, and yet are not extremely wealthy people, because what they're doing doesn't generate a whole lot of funds. But that's okay, because they're doing their purpose. So, get money in the right perspective. Know that it's okay to make money. I don't want anyone to feel guilty that they're making money, but your success isn't based on how much money you make. The other real stumbling block that people come into is power. And what does it mean to have, to be successful? Do you all of a sudden have a great deal of influence on people? Are you a more powerful person? Because we tend to see people who have a great deal of wealth tend to have a great deal of power. Especially now, we see some billionaires and millionaires, multimillionaires, who are in politics or even within business, who tend to control a lot of people's lives and have a lot of power that they misuse greatly. What does power mean? What's the difference between power and influence? That is going to be the topic of our next video. This is John Patrick Hickey for the Growth Center, and I do want to encourage you to always live your purpose and change your world.